The Metal Processing Institute is an industry-supported and industry-managed institute at WPI. And this is funded by over 90 companies, big and small. There are fundamental questions that they have. For example, when we are going to be looking at adapting to new materials, let us say for an automotive. If we are going to be looking at new grades of steel, we are going to be looking for new grades of aluminum. The information that is needed for validating that particular material is going to be of the fundamental nature. So that kind of information, which the industry perhaps would need a year, 2 years, maybe 5 years down the road, that kind of work, they look at us at MPI to be doing and providing the information. When we were approached by the Automotive Recyclers of Massachusetts, ARM, to look at this issue of carbon footprint, what is the impact on the carbon footprint by the operations of these automotive recyclers, we thought it was a very important technical topic that would be appropriate for a major qualifying project for the seniors. So we took that on. They started with several site visits to first of all understand what the issue was, how their operations would be impacting carbon footprint on the environment, and then they started going into the details of what these recyclers do, what comes in, what goes out from any of these businesses, how they manage on a day-to-day basis. So they collected all that information, and then they did a survey of many other recyclers in the state and looked at it from a life cycle analysis point of view. When a car that has reached the end of life, when that is brought in, these companies, first of all, look at the material that can be reused, which is very, very important. If the engine, if the transmission, which are heavy equipment inside a vehicle, if they can be reused, then that is a huge saving. There are wheels, there are doors that can be reused, there are some minor things like lighting that can be reused, but then there are also fluids, as we know. There is a battery fluid, there are transmission fluids, there is a engine coolant. All those things are present in automotive. So the recyclers collect all of that and they either use it in-house as a fuel, or if it is of a good quality, they would even sell it. After that, then we have the body of the vehicle, which is the steel and aluminum. So they are then shredded and then they are sent for remelting. And that is where we get the advantage of energy saving and the environmental impact. So when we look at an automotive recycling system, we are looking at dominantly two metals, aluminum and steel. If we look at the steel, the amount of energy that is needed to make a kilogram of steel is about 20 million joules. If we recycle the steel, that amount drops down to by 75% to something like 5 million joules. So there is a huge saving in energy if we recycle steel. If we look at aluminum, that's even more attractive. Aluminum requires much more energy than steel does. So you need about 200 million joules of energy to make a kilogram of aluminum. That amount comes down by 95% to something like 15 million joules of energy to recycle a kilogram of aluminum. So that is a huge advantage in recycling. Since the focus was on looking what is the impact on the environment from the operations of these recyclers, they were also looking at the recycling operation, how that is done, and what is the saving in terms of carbon dioxide emissions. An average recycler would be recycling about 2,000 cars a year. If we look at the impact on the number of recyclers that are in the state, that would be about 165,000 vehicles being recycled in the state. So if we look at the metal value, metal contained in those vehicles, 165,000 vehicles, that's 2.2 million tons of carbon dioxide gas saved by the automotive recyclers in the state. That's a tremendous amount of energy saving. What the automotive recyclers are doing is really saving in terms of materials, they're saving in terms of energy, and they're also impacting the environment in a positive way, in a great sense. This business of automotive recycling is heading towards what we would call a zero waste situation. So this is, in the sense, what circular economy represents, that the entire business is operating or moving in a circle. So you're not bringing in raw materials, you're not bringing in primary metals into the system. We make a car, we use a car, and we completely recycle the car, so it stays in a circle, and we want to keep it like that for as long as we can. The fact that the total resource available on Earth is going down, the quality of that resource is going down, whereas with the increase of population, the demand for materials is increasing and will continue to increase. We have no other choice but to recycle these materials and put them back into the system. It is a societal need. It is a sustainability need. If we do not recycle, the society will not be sustainable 30, 40, 50 years down the road.